Hello, everybody. I hope you're having a fantastic day. There was a few things I wanted to talk about today, but first let's get the technical issues out of the way. I've chosen a game that I find visually appealing, and we're going to do a long clip because I'm not set up to record gameplay and then put a commentary over it at the moment. And since I don't have my setup where I would like it to put a camera on and do it that way either, we're gonna go with Like a Dragon because it is the current apple of my eye. And I know it's an older game, but I love it. So we're gonna play it, and I'm working on the platinum, so good times. Now, that all being said, I have been noticing some things in the industry of gaming, and I mean, we love our games, right? So, of course, we want to talk about it. And I would like to point out that I think the more people talking about it, the better. I think we need more voices, even more than there are now. And I think that it really needs to be done because it's getting ridiculous. And I've seen a few things recently that really struck me, and I have to say that I'm not angry. I'm just disappointed. Now, my cockatoo that I've had for 36 years is a beautiful bird, and she is adorable, but she also takes exception when I try to record things sometimes. So if that is the case, we're gonna try to just cut that out if it can be cut out. If not, we're just gonna have to start over because I have though basically this is gonna be one long shot, and it is what it is. Now I'm gonna use Dragon Age Veilguard as my example later on because I have played it. I am a huge Dragon Age fan and longtime supporter of the studio. And now that I have some distance on it, I feel that I can be fair to it. But I do have to say one thing, congratulations to the developers and, the people involved in the, train wreck that was Veilguard, because you have my attention now. My complete and undivided attention. And guess what? I can hold a grudge like it's got a handle on it. And that'll come up later. But I want to start with, you can't really talk about the game without talking about some of the things that are wrong. Or not really wrong, but maybe misguided overall in the industry as a whole. And I would like to start that with a little bit of statistics. Now, I have a problem with people using statistics for, the art that I love. Because it's very cerebral. And a lot of times, the statistics, while they're not inaccurate and they're not wrong, they are misrepresentative. They are not that, like I said, it's not that they're not right. They are correct, I'm sure. And that's not really what the point is, though. There's one that a lot of people use, that it's 50% of gamers now are female. And that's why certain things are made certain ways now. And it's one, don't blame us for that. You broke it. Don't blame the fact that I'm a female on the fact that you fucked up my favorite series. That is annoying. Now, sure. Again, like I said, it's an accurate statistic. I'm sure that 50% of the people that identify themselves as gamers identify as female. Now, this is not the point. It doesn't matter. What does matter is, what do you mean by gamer? Who are these people that you're polling? Do they have the shared experience of a gamer? Are they mobile gamers? Are they'll only play games on their phone? Are they console gamers? Are they computer gamers? PC gamers?
Here we go.
I mean, it's not a one-size-fits-all hobby. Even down to that point. So if you're trying to use that as, your reasoning, sorry, It's not good enough. Now, some statistics are a little more helpful than others. Like I said, the 50% of gamers statistic is not useful because I don't know what the people taking these polls use as a baseline for what a gamer is. Nintendo released some of their gameplay statistics from their actual platform. So the fact that 80% of the gameplay hours were played by males, well, that's a statistic that at least has meat on the bone for me, we'll say. Now, these groups, you have your different demographics. We all love different things. Like me, my absolute favorite peak RPG, you've got something like Baldur's Gate, where it's like in-depth story, replayable, tons of side quests, romance options. You can almost do just whatever you want. You could romance no one, you could romance everyone. You could do all the side quests. You could do no side quests, just, you know, eyes on the prize, straight through the main story. So, I mean, but that's me. And that's not going to be somebody that likes the, there's that game Overcooked, I think it's called, where it's like, you know, everybody's running around trying to cook food and it's burning and people are yelling. That's not my bag. I don't like games like that, and I never will. People that love that game are probably not going to be down for, you know, a 200, 300 hour RPG like I am. So, you know, the Venn diagram, maybe there's a little bit of overlap, there's some outliers, but overall, the different people like different things, and we want the things we like, not the bland oatmeal version of the thing we like. Now, I mean, if you want to just make one game and never make another game again, then it really doesn't matter, does it? You've made your art, and that's fine. But if you want to make games plural, like you want a sustainable business model where you can continue to create things you love over and over again, you only have 3 options. You could make games targeted to the largest market share, and then you've got, you know, a bigger budget. You're more specific and narrow in your focus. Or you can go lower budget and do more niche things, you know, big risk, big reward, low investment. Then that's more your indies or your really niche things like your what is it, Age of Empires kind of, you know, strategy, the RTS genre. You know, a really good RTS I can get down with, but overall it's not my thing. Now, I say 3 things you can do, but really it's not true because, you know, those 2 things work. There's the 3rd thing you can do, but it doesn't ever work. And that's try to make a game for everybody. Now, it's an admirable goal. You want everyone to play it, you want everyone to enjoy it, you want everyone to buy it. So maybe it's not as admirable as it could be, but you get my point. However, if you make a game for everybody, you make a game for nobody. There will be too many things that put off at least half of the people you're aiming for. And the kind of money that you're going to put into that, the return is not equivalent to the investment, is basically what I'm saying. Because you'll never get the full sales. You'll never get that whole demographic. It's just not feasible. Is it possible? I guess. What do they say? Like, you know, everything is possible, just mathematically improbable. Sure. But you put that, then you compound this on top of the fact that you're pissing off gamers by calling them names because they don't like something. You're intentionally antagonizing the people you want to give you money I'm sorry, but most, not even most, but a lot of gamers are OCD completionists. Like I said, I played this game, I enjoyed it, I'm going for the platinum. I only need like 4 or 5 more trophies to get the platinum. Do you really think I'm the kind of person that's gonna forget that you said some really terrible shit about me because I didn't like Dragon Age Veilguard? Because I was mad about that? You think that I'm gonna forget what you said? You think that I'm not gonna think about that before I buy something? And you'd be like, and I've seen, they're like, oh, gamers are losers or whatever. No, they're not. This is an expensive hobby. They're not losers by any metric that matters. Certainly not any metric that matters to a business trying to sell something. Let's get specific, alright? Dragon Age. The Veilguard. Now, I'll be fair about it, okay? If this wasn't a Dragon Age game, I could probably see my way to giving it like a 5 out of 10. As it is, I can't honestly give it more than a 3 out of 10. Because the worst thing about the game is that it destroys canon. Okay? Now, in gaming, this is about the worst thing you can do when you're relying on a specific franchise's fans to carry you. Okay? If you're gonna spend 10 years and, you know, $300 million or whatever it is, ridiculous amounts of money that are frankly unfathomable to make a game, you're gonna need that guaranteed customer base to sell it. And if you're gonna shit all over canon, you've basically lost that customer base because they don't want it. That is not what they signed up for. That is a different game. It is not part of the franchise at that point. Now, that's like, there's 2 big ones. That's a big one for me. The other big one is that it's not actually an RPG. Okay? If it's not a role-playing game, don't call it a role-playing game. I've seen this a few times in the industry. It really pisses me off. I know it happens more than that, but these are like, I mean, specific examples where I bought an RPG, and I didn't get an RPG. What I got was an action-adventure game with maybe I got to pick what ending cinematic I got, or you know, something stupid that they thought made it that they could call it a role-playing game. Again, this is not a one-size-fits-all hobby. It is not my responsibility to tell you that your budget is too high for what you're aiming for.
Here we go.
So, I mean, those are the 2 biggest problems, okay? Now, it's got other ones. Another big problem it has is that the dialogue is cringy at its best and like absolute garbage at its worst. It's like 2 AI chatbots have been given a lot of really weird instructions and then been told to have a conversation with each other. This is not how, it's not how people talk to each other, and it's not immersive. It's completely just a tire fire. I'm not even gonna go into it anymore. Let's move on. The character models are both unattractive and unrealistic. They had a really interesting thing going with the Canary. Like, the Canary were really, like, really cool looking. Like, they were my favorites. Okay? They took them and they, like, smoothed them out. I don't know how else to describe it, and it doesn't really do justice to how weird they look now. And it's really difficult to articulate the wrongness of what it looks like. All it does is really, it just makes you not want to look at it, and that's really the best way to say it. So, like I said, they're not 0s out of 10. Neither one of them. Even the one where it's a Dragon Age game is not a 0 out of 10. And I'll tell you why. Here's the nice things about the game. I do have some nice things. The combat is passable. It's not too hard. It's not too easy. Like, you can complete your combat objectives without being a pro gamer. You could, I'm sure, turn up the difficulty if it was too easy for you, etc., etc. But the thing is passable and okay, again, are not good enough to carry the game. It's just, there are some games where the combat is just amazing and it can carry the whole game. This is not one of those games. But I have to say that probably the nicest thing I can say about that game is that it functions. I did not run into many glitches. You can tell a lot of work went into the coding. It was very, I mean, it was well made. And then you have on top of that, I found the scenery very beautiful. Okay? I know a lot of people said there was too much purple. I love purple. It was all a little oversaturated, sure. But, again, I love the color purple. It's fantastic. So, there you go. Something really nice about it. Now, I say this as a hardcore Mass Effect and Dragon Age fan, that overall, I would have to say that I think EA should just shutter the whole studio. I think BioWare is done. I am sad about it. Now, this is me. I, several months ago, said I would hands down buy anything from BioWare without sight unseen, without hesitation, and pre-order it and get the best version. And I meant it when I said it. And it pains me to say it, but I think BioWare is done. I think they're cooked. I think that they should cancel the next Mass Effect game. I think they should either reassign the IP to another studio or perhaps sell it to someone that could do it justice and just be done with it, because I don't think they can come back from this, and it pains me to say it, but that's what I think. And I mean, I was thinking about it, and I've been looking forward to Mass Effect for as long as I've been looking forward to Dragon Age, the new one. And I mean, Exodus is coming out soon, and it looks good, and it might be the new Mass Effect, but I'm not going to pre-order it, and I'm not going to upsell it. I probably won't even buy it day one, you know. I'll wait until I see someone like Asmongold play it for a few minutes, and then, you know, make that decision on that, because quite frankly, after this mess, you know, I'll probably never pre-order a game again. I probably won't buy any more on day one either. I don't want to get burned again. I really feel like I was had. And, yeah, that's...
Here we go.
I bought the game on PSN, so I couldn't even return it. Like, it was really upsetting. And, you know, a lot of things are like, oh, well, you know, the game wasn't for you. Well, if you're not going to make games for me and you're going to insult me while you do it, then you're not entitled to my money or my sympathy. I'm over it. I'm over it. And here's another thing. To that idiot developer who, you know, consulted on the most recent debacle of BioWare's, that he says that $70 doesn't entitle you to be cruel. And he doesn't even define what cruel is. But, you know what? I was thinking about it. It doesn't really matter how he defines cruel, because I've got news for him. This is America, and you don't even have to buy the game to be cruel about it. That shit's free of charge. And I don't have to put money in to criticize something or be part of the Discord, and I certainly don't need some old man's permission to call somebody that ruined something that I love an asshole, because that's what they did. They ruined something I love. Plain and simple. That's all. And, you know, sure, maybe that doesn't matter to them. Well, that's their right too. And I don't remember his name, and I don't care. You know, if you like, insert nickname about him being a whiny loser right here. You know, two can play at this game. I don't care. You know, it made me think about it too when I was watching it that, you know, Asmongold has a saying about bridge building. And I really don't think I need to finish that thought, do I? Don't at me, you won't change my mind. Now, really, to bring it back to the industry as a whole, they've been doing this push to go digital. You know, you don't own your games, you own a license to your games, and frankly, when you've got your pre-orders and, you know, you can start playing the game right at that when the countdown's over, and all the pre-order bonuses and all that great stuff, you know, there's a trade-off, and I understand it, and I was alright with playing with the most part. Like, I definitely got the disc version of the console because I like having options, but if I'm going to pre-order it, I might as well pre-order it digitally and be able to play it right away. But with this whole debacle, it's made me very aware of PSN not having anything close to a reasonable refund policy. So there's that. And I have no reason to participate in the digitization because the benefits are now all gone. And if it doesn't benefit me at all, I'm not going to do it. Because I can wait a day or two for Amazon to deliver my game. You know? And you can go on about spoilers this, spoilers that. You know what? I'm a grown-up. I'm not going to whine about something accidentally getting spoiled for me. And if it's good enough, guess what? Something being spoiled won't make a difference. Because it won't replace that moment. So I'm not really worried about it. I mean, that's another thing too. If it's good enough, it won't be spoiled. And that's something else that a lot of people are currently talking about right now is this Avowed game. Now, I've seen some stuff from it. I've seen some people talk about it. I've seen some people say positive reviews about it. I've seen negative reviews about it. And the thing is that they all come down to pretty much the same thing. It's okay. It's average. And average isn't good enough if you want a blockbuster sales. Average is good enough if you don't really have a, you know, high hopes for it. You know, average is good enough if you don't care if it sells or not. But average isn't good enough if you want a lot of people to put down $70 or more. I mean, I get it. Video games are expensive. They've always been expensive. But if you want people to put down their money, don't be like, oh, it's janky. Haha. No. That's not cute. And we're tired of it. What the industry doesn't seem to remember is that we don't really need them. They need us. I can play D&D. I've got a cabinet full of D&D books. I can play D&D. I can play games I already own on the PlayStation 5. I can play games I have for the 4. I can play the games I have on the 360. I could probably, if I replayed every game I already own right now, I would probably have more than enough gameplay to never buy another game again. If I just bought games that I missed out on over the past 30 years because I was busy playing something else or doing something else or working or doing any other number of things, then I still wouldn't need to buy any new releases. So, I mean, you figure, I enjoy replaying games. I've played Morrowind so many times that I've built loot palaces, is what I call them. Like, I'll pick a house in one of the villages, and that's where I bring all of my really good loot that none of the merchants can afford to buy from me. At one point, I had so much stuff stacked up in one of these houses that when I left and came back, it was all gone. And I was freaking out until I saw in the middle of the room that there was a bag and it said loot overflow. And all my stuff was in there. But, I mean, I had discovered that one little cute coding thing years after the game came out. And I had been playing it. So, I'm sorry, average isn't good enough. Not if you want people to really put down money. And I mean, I'm glad, because like I said, it's not all of them. This game is amazing. What I saw of Asmund playing Hawaii Pirates Yakuza, or wait, what? Yakuza, Like a Dragon, Pirates in Hawaii. Jeez, what a mouthful. You know, I watched him play some of it because I was like, you know what, never again. I'm not going to get burned again. And it's good. And I'm going to pick it up. But I'm in no hurry now. That's pretty much been ruined for me. So, I would say, you know, if you're curious about my gamer cred, you can see Mage 2 Warrior right there. I'm on PSN. I'm on Xbox. I recently made a Steam, but you know, there's nothing there yet, and my GOG is the same. So, for computer games, I spent a long time playing WoW, and it was pretty much WoW on the PC and console games. And I didn't even make an Xbox Live account until, I don't know, right before I switched over to the PlayStation. But still, I think it's important to know what experience you're basing your opinion off of. And I've been playing games for like 35 years, so I think I've got a good handle on what a good game is. All of that being said, please subscribe to my channel. If you liked the video, please give it a like. If you didn't like the video, well, there's no accounting for taste, but go ahead and dislike it anyway. I may or may not see you in the comments, no promises. I get busy and hyper-focused on other things, so it could happen, it could not happen. Regardless, get off my lawn.